Welcome, Bulletproof Ballers, to the Bulletproof Baller YouTube channel. We are seriously back. If you do not know who I am Liam Howell, Bulletproof Baller on Instagram. We have grown from 0 to over 80k followers in the last 1.5 to 2 years that I've been on Instagram. My story is that I had a snapped kneecap and a meniscus tear originally at age 16 after trying to go pro. I was in different PDCs, I was in Norwich PDC, Norwich Elites. I was trying to push that academy level, I was trying to push to go pro, and I had a major knee injury. And it's because of things that were ultimately avoidable in certain instances. Maybe some were freak accidents. After my surgery, I had multiple different physios, I had years of strength training, and after that I was left with a partial ACL tear. I was left with 4 meniscus tears in that same meniscus over the entire span of 5 years. I had cartilage damage, I had patellar tendon and quad tendon damage at certain points as well. And I overcome all of this using a system which we now call the Bulletproof Ballers system. And I have taken a step away from being so inside the business so that I can provide more value on the outside, such as these YouTube videos, such as more Instagram reels, such as more content, more free stuff, which is what I used to be able to get my knee to the place that I wanted it to be. I was lost for 5 years. I had pain every single step I took. There was one point at 19 years old that I walked out of my university lecture and I was pushing my screws back in my knee, and I had severe pain in my knee that my face was like this. And a girl came up to me and she said, "Do you need help? Do you want me to get you someone?" At 19 years old, I felt like I was a 90-year-old man. Now I'm jumping off crossbars. I'm able to play football whenever I want. I'm able to do some crazy feats of strength. And my knee's not perfect. No one's knees are perfect. No one can be perfect except Jesus Christ. But we are in a very good position. Today, I'm going to lay out an entire system, right? I'm going to lay out the frameworks, which I'm going to go into more depth in future videos. I've gone in depth in previous videos. I've unlisted a lot of videos and we're starting again from scratch, but there is some videos on there which I think are bangers. So if you do want to check out those. I hope they help. But today, as you can see on my screen, this is the framework of becoming a bulletproof baller. And that's going to be one of the first videos. What is a bulletproof baller? But a bulletproof baller is then made up of 3 things. Bulletproof body. It's made up of bulletproof health, and it's made up of bulletproof mind. Inside that, there's then 3 layers, and then 3 layers. And it keeps going down. And honestly, if I had all of the things that go on inside my system and my mind on this thing, we'd be here for hours and hours and hours. So I stopped it at the 4th level. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, the 4th level, right? And this is going to be an overview that will help you understand our system better, to be able to see where you are lacking. It can be a kind of a tick list for you in terms of, okay, what stuff do I need to work on versus what stuff don't I need to work on? And then you can find the stuff that you need to work on. And you can go to the separate YouTube videos where I've done an absolute in-depth thing on that, and you can absolutely sort it out yourself. Obviously, it's going to be 100% quick if you do come into our coaching. Our one-on-one coaching is the best place for people to get the results that they want. Especially for knees, we're getting results every single day, and I'll put up some results on the screen as I am talking about this. We had people like Charlie to be able to go from multiple knee dislocations to scoring 47 goals in 28 games in non-league football. I think he was at step 5. And he's semi-pro, he's pushing on to higher levels. We had Colin come in 7 months post ACL meniscus tear, and he couldn't even squat halfway arse to grass. Within a few months, we got him squatting 40 kg arse to grass. We got him able to use his full range of motion and just feeling so much better. He said that our system is completely different. We had Summer go from ACL and meniscus tear to be able to absolutely feel like nothing has ever happened. I met with her in Dubai, me and one of my head coaches. We saw her and her dad, and we talked about her journey, and she said, my knee actually feels like it never happened. Like I never had an ACL tear. And it's crazy because when she came to us 4 or 5 months post ACL and meniscus surgery, she was not in a good position. She was having issues walking down the stairs. She was having mobility issues, all kinds of stuff, right? And one thing I do have to preface here is that we're not medical experts. I am not a medical expert. I do not replace your physio. I do not replace your doctors. That is not what I am doing. I am here putting out information from what I see. And we only work with people that have been cleared by the physios in order to train. So we do not diagnose. We do not fix any clear medical issues. What we do is strength training. So we improve ability. that is what we work on. That's the thing that changed my life. Okay, amazing. Let's get into this. So the goal really, for most of you watching this, it may be different stuff. You may have a goal of playing with your kids. Again, you may have a goal of just walking, hiking without any issues. You may have goals of being more athletic and bulletproof than ever. The words that encapsulate what I really wanted to be and why I have my name as this now is Bulletproof Baller. I wanted to be that, right? I had severely weak knees. I had so much issues going on. I was not athletically fit. I was, weak, immobile, like in pain constantly. And if I had an ideal like this, an ideal of being a bulletproof baller that I had hope and I could work towards, it would have completely changed my life. And that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be bulletproof against issues. I wanted to be able to be more athletic than ever before. I wanted to be more resilient to injury. So that means when I do have an injury, I come back faster than ever, right? Bulletproof is an unattainable perfect goal, is how I would describe it. You have relative stuff, right? If I jumped off the Empire State Building, my knees are going to explode. So I'm not that bulletproof. You can't be 100% bulletproof. That all force going into your knees, you're going to be chilling. But we want to become more and more bulletproof every single day. For me, I believe in Christianity. That is my hope and that is my salvation. So this resonates with the hope of Jesus, right? So Jesus is the perfect man. He had lived a sinless life, and the goal as a Christian is to get closer and closer and closer to Jesus every day with the comfortability of knowing that you're never going to be Jesus. It's the same thing here. The goal is to get closer and closer and closer to bulletproof every single day, but having the comfortability of knowing that you are never going to be 100% bulletproof to everything, right? But we can become more bulletproof. If you have a 0.01% of ability, you can get 0.02%. You can go more. 1%, 2%, 10%, 50%, 100%. Me, 200%, 250%, 300%. Levels that I never thought I could ever reach. I still have 2 screws in my knee. I have no idea whether anything is healed in my knee. I can hit 70 kg ATG splits because I can jump down off crossbars. I can do this crazy stuff, and it was because of ability. It's because I worked on these things which I'm about to lay out for you. So this is a lifestyle. This isn't a one and done. This isn't okay, you do the program and then you're good. This is an embodiment, right? I want you to become, in your essence, a bulletproof baller, which is whenever you decide to become a bulletproof baller. I'm not bulletproof baller. It's a name of, it's an ideal. It's a hope. Bulletproof Ballers, me and Kadeem created it together. It's not me. Like, I'm not even important in this. I'm just a vessel of information to help you get where you want to get to, wherever that is. So on the left we have, and again, I'm going to write books on all of these at some point: Bulletproof Body, Bulletproof Health, Bulletproof Mind, and we're going to be rolling. On the left we have Bulletproof Body. This is really what I wanted to achieve, and within this Bulletproof Body we have 3 stages which we have seen over and over and over and over again, that people will be in one of these stages. So if you're having trouble in return to sport, it's probably because we haven't done the rebuild properly. If we're having troubles in rebuild, it's probably because we haven't done the rejuvenate stage properly. So we have rejuvenate, rebuild, return to sport. That's our 3R system. After that, you then have the bulletproofing phase, which is a maintenance thing and is the ultimate, okay, I want to get more and more, whatever you want to get to. For example, if you wanted to be my apologies, I had a delivery, but we were talking about the stages, right? So the first stage that we have is rejuvenate. And in the rejuvenate phase, this real goal is to bring the area back to life, is to make the area feel like a normal area again. So if this is the knee, it's to bring that back to life, right? We want it to start to feel like a normal knee, to tell our brain that it's okay, we trust this area, we can use it in the way we're supposed to use it. And the 2 goals of this then are 1, blood flow. Increase blood flow to the area, and 2, decrease inflammation. Okay, amazing. And I'm going to go in way more depth on how to do each one of these, but we have stuff like short range concentric dominant movements. We have high repetition stuff for the blood flow. We have floss bands. We have a bunch of different stuff that we can use in order to create blood flow. And again, I'll do this in a deeper dive video. Decrease inflammation, it comes from stuff in the Bulletproof Health. So it is that. but also some of the tricks and tools we can use with the body to be able to help that as well. But that is going to come a lot from nutrition, supplements, all that kind of stuff as well. But in this stage is to increase blood flow, decrease inflammation. So you can still think of these as interchangeable, right? So some of the return to sports stuff might be done in the rebuild phase, right? A little bit of the rebuild phase stuff might be done in the rejuvenate, right? But once we go into the rebuild, we have rebuilding 3 things. And this, as we see over and over again, is the real athlete, the real bulletproof baller has these 3 things. It's 1, joint dominance. So what this means is that the connective tissue, the knee, the joint itself, the tendons, ligaments, cartilage, meniscus, all that kind of stuff can adapt and get stronger. So when we're in sport, when we're doing certain movements, it's not just the muscles taking on the force and producing the force or redirecting the force. It's the connective tissue within the knee, within the hip, within the different areas, right? And all of this stuff adapts. It's shown in the literature to adapt. Some stuff heals better than others, depending on blood supply, depending on different types of things. The healing of different things is very different. Some is slower, some is longer. It completely depends on the area. But we are looking for an athlete to be joint dominant. If you look at kids, they can jump down stuff that's like 2 times their body height, right? And just be chilling. Yet you have an athlete that can produce loads of force, can jump really high, but they can't jump down from the same height that they can jump up as. And that's what we call a joint dominant athlete, is where, that's a good test of it, is jumping down off something, that eccentric load, the elasticity, the being able to absorb the force and redirect it, is being better than being able to produce it, right? Because you can build loads of muscle. You think about the bodybuilders, you think about all of these power lifters and stuff like that, they have a lot of muscle, but they're stiff, they're unathletic in certain aspects. For example, if a powerlifter tried to play soccer, football, whatever you want to call it, they are gonna not be as good as someone like me who was born and bred playing football and adapted my tissues to playing the sport, right? So it's just different. Like the way that you use the tissues and the way they're developed is different, and we need to develop them in the right ways to create the best athlete for what we want. And for me, that is being athletically fit. That is football, right? That is the number 1 goal. Second pillar is then mobility, and to us this means strength through ranges. It doesn't just mean flexibility on its own, it doesn't just mean strength on its own, it means a combination of the 2: strength, flexibility, stability. Using our knee through a full range of motion, and not just using it through a full range of motion, but getting super strong there. The tissues around the knee, like the hamstrings, again, not just being able to increase the range of motion with the hamstring so you can start to touch your toes, but to get strong in something like a Jefferson curl, right? With the full range of motion through the knee, if we can, for example, I can 70 kg, 80 g split squat, right? So that range through my knee is so strong. And that's what we want to create. If you look at kids, they're just down in deep squats all day, they can get into super mobile positions. And again, like the use of the analogy of kids, it is really good in one aspect, but then adults have benefits over kids as well, right? Because if you put a bunch of 24-year-olds against a bunch of 6-year-olds in football, 24-year-olds are going to win just because they're stronger but can produce more force and more athletic, etc., etc. So we need a harmony between the beauty of being a kid, which is the mobility, the joint dominance, the elasticity, and being an adult, which is being able to produce force, being able to be big, strong, more skillful, etc., etc. And then finally, elasticity, and this is all the greatest athletes are elastic dominant, really. The ability to rebound force, to amortization, to be able to absorb force, eccentric load, the capacity to do those kind of things is better than the ability to just produce force, right? Because if you look at a sprint, for example, in the first starting position, that's going to be more muscle dominant to get you moving, to get the acceleration going. Once you're at top speed and you're touching the ground less, there's less ground contact time, that's going to be more elasticity. So you need both, right? You need a structural balance of both. And again, all of the words, all of the topics, short range, long range, structural balance, all these kind of topics, I will again go deep into in different videos, because these are super important to be able to grasp your brain around. Otherwise you're just going to be hearing me say them in certain videos and be like, oh. And that's why it's also good to watch through videos multiple times, because watching through videos multiple times, you're going to be like, okay, because I've watched this short range, long range, well, I've gone back to this video, he talked about that here, so now I can like link the dots, right? I've watched my mentors videos like hundreds of times, if not thousands, because you get something different from it every single time. So then we go into return to sport, and the main 3 things that we do differently, and again, we still do traditional stuff. We still work with the physios in order to be able to hit their standards, do their stuff, etc., when we are having someone do the return to sport phase and that. But the stuff that we see that propels us to different levels and has physios asking us what we are doing and us being able to say, well, this, and this, and then they implement it and start seeing better results, is really these 3 things. It's having higher standards for people, and this completely depends from person to person, case to case, but we have a set of standards and we aim for way higher standards than the norm, right? Because if you think about it, when you got injured, you were 100%. If you just got back to 100%, so the strength or elasticity or mobility that you had before you got injured, then you're likely to get injured again, because that's when you got injured, at that 100%. So if you only get 100%, like, you're most likely going to get injured again. And that's why we have such high injury rates, because our standards don't go above it. We don't go 150%, 200%, right? We don't go to those levels that are really important. And again, demand versus ability, it depends on what your goals are. If your goals are to go to high levels of football, you're going to need more ability because you have a higher demand. If you just want to go hike and play with your kids, stuff like that, you're going to need less ability. It's going to take less time because you have less demand placed on the knee. So it completely depends on you and your own goals as well, which again, why the one-on-one coaching is so important, because we get to work with you on your specific goals. We get to look at where you are right now, where you want to go, and create a roadmap with you and for you. Okay, amazing. And then second thing in the return to sport is something that we see missing is like the deceleration or eccentric kind of force. And we've talked about this in joint dominance and elasticity. But even in the return to sport, like doing max decels instead of just max sprints, right? Like because most knee injuries happen in deceleration or changing direction. So if that's where most knee injuries happen, why don't we build the ability there 10 times instead of just building the hip power, which is acceleration, which is putting more force into the knee, in deceleration, which we can't handle. Interesting. Third is then play. So this means, playing the sport and slowly working yourself back into it. Also doing solo play, also playing with different stuff, different skill stuff, so rope flow, juggling, different ball stuff, different juggling with the football, doing different stimulus that's actual like the game stimulus and a bit differential, a bit like unpredictable force, so that we can actually adapt to that, right? Because your sport in itself is such a big stimulus in which you would have created a base with, an injury prevention base, and when you get injured, that is taken away. So the goal of the joint dominance, mobility, elasticity in the gym work is to get you to the point where you can handle your play without getting injured, and then that's going to adapt you to the sport even more as well and make you even more injury resilient. It's actually playing the sport itself. So you cannot rush this phase, you cannot rush this phase, you cannot rush this phase. Take longer to be able to have out. Like, that was my main issue. It's like just returning too fast over and over, not having high enough standards, not taking my time to be able to adapt to the thing that I'm trying to adapt to. Like, just take time. I promise you that it's going to be so much better for you if you do. Cool. So that's the Bulletproof body, and obviously we have so many principles, so many different things that I will run through on a bunch of different YouTube videos, but that is the base of it there that we're looking at. Second thing is then the Bulletproof health. So Bulletproof body can't really come without Bulletproof health, right? Because your Bulletproof health is about how you feel on the inside, right? So if you're giving yourself a stimulus with the Bulletproof body, like the training itself, you need to be able to recover from that training. And this is where the Bulletproof health comes in. If someone comes to me in a processed food diet that's kind of overweight, that doesn't really want to sort out their health, I would rather take the guy that does worse training but has way better health, because the tissues will adapt. Okay, amazing. So we have 3 pillars of this as well. We have consumption, which is then nutrition, supplements, and also body composition. We have sleep optimization, which is then breaks down into the morning time, the daytime, and then the nighttime, what we do in those. Then we have the third thing, which is nature's gifts, which is grounding, red light therapy, and also being outside. And again, I can break down these loads and loads and loads of detail in future videos. But each one is so important. And I really do need you to not just take the body seriously, not the training seriously, but to take the health seriously, and not just take the health seriously, but take the mind seriously. Everything stems from your mind. The one who believes that they can get somewhere will get somewhere. The one that believes that they can't get somewhere won't get there. Okay, amazing. Your external reality can very much be dictated by your internal state of mind. Placebo trials. It shows over and over again that the mind is so powerful. And then we have 3 different pillars for this as well. So when it comes to your mind, you have what you're surrounding yourself with. Like, you probably heard the phrase, you are the 5 people you surround yourself with. But it's not just that. It's everything that you're putting into your brain. We are made up of a conscious mind, a subconscious mind as well. So a subconscious mind, like, we just brush our teeth without thinking about it. We ride the bike without thinking about it. It's all those habits, programs, patterns of behavior that is resided in our mind without having to consciously think about it, right? And this is created by yourself. So what I mean by this is what information you listen to. Listening to this information right now will change your thoughts. You will be thinking on a different level by just listening to my thoughts. Interesting. So what I am saying will have triggered a bunch of different thoughts in your head, which you can then go and act on if you want to, or not act on. But you will be on a level of thought that I'm on, right? So are you putting in some rubbish in your brain like Playboy Kai, Little Uzi, Juice WRLD, like I used to? Are you letting that program you? Are you listening to the lyrics? Are you listening to all the people swearing? Or are you putting in some of this good stuff? Are you putting in Ben Patrick, Keegan Smith, all the books of the greats? Are you putting in the Bible? Absolute banger, right? All of this stuff is going to really create your thoughts, and your thoughts can really dictate your life. You then have your inner circle, right? The 5 people that you are surrounded by. So who is talking to you? If they are training, like the people that I'm surrounded by are my coaches, and when we get together and we train, it's a different level, right? And we're always pushing each other different levels. Kadeem, me and him are having conversations about the training. We're having conversations about what to do with the business. So we are really, you rise to the level of your environment. And then a mentor, right? It's so important in every area of life to have a coach or a mentor or someone that tells you what they've done. Have they got the results that you want? Have they got the results for other people that you want? If they do, you should probably listen to what they say until you find out they're either lying to you or what they're doing isn't working, right? But until you find out that they're lying to you or they don't know what they're doing, you should probably listen to what they say. For example, I have had major knee injuries. I have been weak, I have been fragile, I have been depressed, I've been all sorts of things. I personally got the results for myself, and we now have results for over 200 people within our coaching as well. People are getting stronger knees every single day, and it can be you as well. I personally, with my business, with my training, every single area of life, I have paid someone money to be able to teach me how to get there faster. I personally pay with money over time. Time is a finite resource. We're only on this world for so long, and we don't have the power to know when that is. I could go down the street tomorrow and get hit by a bus. Lord willing, hopefully that doesn't happen, but it could, right? So that's a finite resource. Where with money, if I spend some money, I can get it back because there's infinite amounts of it, right? It can always be printed more and more and more. If you look at every arena in life, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Messi, every single person has a coach. If you want to get somewhere, I would personally, and this isn't me trying to tell you, like, this is just a rule of the universe. If you want to take something seriously and you really want results, I would personally get a coach, like whatever area that may be, whatever's important to you. Second, you then have self-direct neuroplasticity, so this just means changing your brain. First pillar there is your personal experiences and your expectations for the future, so your past and your future. You then have attention density positive, so how much positive attention are you giving the thing? So seeing here, watching this video and being able to actually be here and not picking up your phone, I know you've done it a few times on this video already, is picked up to check your notifications or to scroll on reels or to not put your whole attention into this. Interesting. So your attention density positive, how much attention and how positive is that attention, is the second pillar. Then veto power, what can you say no to? Can I say no to going out with the like this is personally me back in the day, like my knee was hurting tons and tons, and I would go out in nightclubs dancing and doing all that kind of stuff. I'd come back and my knee would be swollen to bits, right? I couldn't say no to that because I didn't treat it as a priority. Now I've said no to it. I said no to the takeaways. I said no to paying for all different kinds of stuff so I could put my money and my time and my energy and everything on investing it instead of spending it, right? Do we spend our money or do we invest it in ourselves? Do we spend our time or invest our time in ourselves? Do we spend our energy on stuff that isn't good for us, or do we invest our energy into people, into places, into great experiences that benefit our life? Have a think. What do you do? And then third is reprogram. So I talked about the subconscious mind already, and that speaks a few languages. It speaks emotion, it speaks repetition, and it speaks imagery. So being able to really get emotionally involved in the future that you want and have full faith that you are going to get there. Constantly repeating the right information in your brain and then holding an image of where you want to go as well. And that is going to reprogram your brain to try and help you to get closer to where you want to get to. So this is the system. We have Bulletproof Body, Bulletproof Health, Bulletproof Mind. I hope this has been useful. I hope this has been a cool overview. And I will be breaking down in YouTube. And I know I've done this a lot, but I really have so much time now that I can really give so much value, so much time to this, to you guys. So comment in the comment section what you want to see. If you do want to apply to our one-on-one coaching, please apply. It is in the bio. It's an amazing time. We have great results. If you want to see our results, literally just look on our Bulletproof Ballers Instagram page. We have hundreds by now, and every single day I post wins on my story, and we're just going to be getting more and more and more. So if you do want to work one-on-one with us to be able to get where you want to get to with your knees, please apply down below. If you don't and you just want to learn from them free information, amazing as well. Like, you do you, and I really promise you that I will put out good information that will help you. And whether you've got questions, whether you've got concerns, feedbacks, anything, love letters in the comments, I will read every single thing that's down there. If you want to write a poem for me, you can write a poem for me. I'll get down in the comment section, I'll read and I will reply. Right? I am here for you to be able to get where you want to go. Hope this helps. Let's get rolling.